I'm Sarah Outen, and I'm currently on a mission to circle the planet using just a rowing boat, a bike and a kayak. I started in London on April 1st, 2011, and I expect I'll be home in the autumn of 2013. As I travel, I'm fundraising for 4 great charities: CoppaFeel, Jubilee Sailing Trust, MND Association and WaterAid. I want to raise £100,000 for them. That's £1 for every charity for each of the 25,000 miles I expect to journey all my way home. I want to tell you a bit more about them in the hope that you can help. In alphabetical order, top of the list, we have CoppaFeel, which is literally, as you imagine, CoppaFeel. CoppaFeel is all about encouraging young women to be breast aware. The charity was set up a couple of years ago by a good friend of mine, Christine Hellinger. Chris was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer 3 years ago. There's no stage 5. The sad thing about Chris's story is that she needn't have got to stage 4 because she went to the doctor when she was concerned about lumps in her breast, but the doctor told her she was too young for breast cancer and to go away. It was only after further referrals many months later that Chris was told she had cancer. One of the really great things is that CoppaFeel goes about this in just the best way. Full of fun, irreverent, crazy ideas, lots of sporting challenges. Please remember, check your boobs or somebody else's. Next up we have the Jubilee Sailing Trust, another wonderful charity. And Jubilee Sailing Trust is all about providing tall ship sailing experiences for anyone, regardless of physical ability. Growing up, my father had severe rheumatoid arthritis, so I saw firsthand what it was to not have good health and to be limited in his ability to do certain things, particularly all the outdoor sports that he had loved years before. I was delighted to find the Jubilee Sailing Trust and see that these opportunities do exist to take people out sailing regardless of ability. I'm delighted to say I'm a vice patron for the charity, and I look forward to joining them on a voyage somewhere in the world on my return. Until a few years ago, I only knew motor neuron disease as a set of 3 letters, MND, and I knew that it had stripped Stephen Hawking, the world-renowned scientist, of his voice and his ability to move. 2 years ago, my understanding and experience of MND took on a much more personal note. I was on the London Underground tube when I saw a massive poster with a face looking out into the crowds, and it said Patrick the Optimist across the top and had a link for the MND Association at the bottom. And so I followed through to the links. I was inspired by what I read, that this young guy with a young family, slowly losing his ability to move, talk, breathe due to motor neuron disease, and was painting pictures, portraits of optimistic, inspiring people. And even though this disease is slowly killing him, Patrick is optimistic that one day there will be a cure and there will be no more MND. Before I came away on this journey, Patrick gave me a little wooden boat, which had been given to him by a friend a few years ago when he was having a really tough time. This boat was made by Robert Louis Stevenson, the famous author, and it had been carved by him as a child when he was very sick too. And so Patrick gave me this little wooden boat, and he told me to take it around the world with me, to be safe, and to remember that there will be tough times, but tough times don't last forever. A few years ago, while I was out rowing across the Indian Ocean from Australia to Mauritius, I really began to think about the world's resources and what we're doing with them. Because out there on the boat, if you run out of something, it's kind of game over for that resource, or you just have to manage without it. You have to be so careful about managing food, about managing power, and most of all about managing water. And so it got me thinking about how lucky we are to live in a world where we can just go to a tap and turn on water. Of course, it's not like that everywhere in the world. I was inspired to support a water charity after really appreciating just the basic need for water and the challenges faced by people in countries without access to good fresh water and basic sanitation. Travelling through China on the first part of my journey so far, I was saddened to see the lack of hygiene infrastructure in many parts of the country. And daily I saw people struggling to collect water to keep their families fed and watered and clean. I wanted to support WaterAid on these grounds, a great charity working internationally in areas where basic sanitation and water needs are really lacking. It feels like it's a no-brainer for me really, because we all need water to survive. You know, if there's one thing in this life that we need, it's water.